I was a woman with a mind that was disconnected from reality at times.
So a woman.
And so
what an ending.
Classic Francis. But no, I'm just going to say, my mind needed to be brought into alignment with the reality of my body. Whereas,
as opposed to the other way
as
around.
opposed to a body that needs to be brought into alignment of the reality of your mind. I think the whole trans thing is a microcosm of a much broader problem. So, I was saying about just a failure to bring the truth and reality into alignment with the way you want things to be, or the way you think things should be. So the whole problem of the trans identifying, movement is, I want my life to be like this. I really, it should be like this. Like, as I say, when I was a feminist, it's like, it should be like this. But reality always bites back. And so you're always going to be at odds, like, with reality, and you're never going to find peace while you're trying to live outside it. I mean, we've got a whole world and social media telling you you can. Well, you can't. And, the many detransitioners are testament to that, and the people who've been betrayed by that. But I think it's a microcosm of a broader human problem. So, like, I think over the best part of a century, and Peter Hitchens writes about this brilliantly in The Rage Against God, brilliant book. He talks about how have we gone from being this kind of country with its massive Christian heritage, and then suddenly, like, all of the institutions and all of things in society, and that's all just fallen away. And he sort of charts brilliantly, like, certain events that happened during the last century that really kind of, it's kind of like, what you were saying in your thread about how people lost trust in it, in institutions. The same thing happened with Christianity over the course of, a few decades, with the wars and the Suez crisis and the Profumo affair and all these different things. So the point is, I think we said around the 60s, given some of these crises, I think the world should be like this, and I don't like the reality of the way the world is, and I'm going to live in accordance with that. And then you see the sexual revolution, obviously, which we've covered with brilliant people like Louise Perry and Mary Harrington, just doing such a brilliant job.
And Mary Eberstadt too.
Yeah, Mary Eberstadt, yeah, top-level Crizzo. Loads of people have been writing about this now, which is, again, they tried the trans experiment. It was so extreme. It's failing. It's crumbling. I think what we're seeing now is what's happening in the wake of that best part of a century of just, let's do things our way. Let's completely reject God and the way he says that life should be ordered in accordance with thriving. Let's say that, let's throw out marriage. Let's throw out people taking responsibility for children. Let's throw out, sex is just, it's just a pleasure activity at the end of the day, and we should be able to have that. And placing that as the highest good in society, the highest value, is like freedom and sexual, fulfillment. And then the repercussions of that, downstream are massive in terms of, like, women's unhappiness, in terms of the dating market, trying to have sex like men, as it were, in terms of no strings attached, and trying to be this empowered sexual being. And they don't, inside, a lot of them don't want that. They want to be with a man who's committed to them and have a relationship and have children and build a family and build a little home and a community. That's what most women want. And I think probably a lot of men want as well. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, the other downstream consequences, which are really sad, like abortion. And just like, if you say the highest value in society is that I should be able to have sex whomever I want, and that's the highest priority, that's the highest value, then it's almost like obligatory then that a child's life should be sacrificed because of that, because it's like, well, that's my right. That's the most important thing. It comes before responsibility and anything else. So we're seeing all these, repercussions come out of it. And I'm sure that many people will disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't mind talking and debating with anyone. But what I'm saying is, we tried an experiment of rejecting God, I think, and rejecting the inheritance of Christianity that had been brought down over hundreds and hundreds of years. And I think that's failing in many ways. But again, in the same way I'm encouraged about the trans thing failing, I think I've seen a lot of people interested in Christianity again. And I think that we've seen a lot of people talking about it more freely and more openly. And I think a lot of people interested in pursuing it in a way that they weren't before. And I've seen a lot of people coming to Christ who have completely no background in it whatsoever. I think if you'll permit me to have one more minute, so I talked about the trans thing as a microcosm of like what's happened over the last century. I think that is a microcosm of the human experience, the human problem, which is, if you want to look at history, if you want to look at the Old Testament, if you don't know what the Old Testament is in the Bible, pretty much the story of the Old Testament is God gives people, says, this is what's good and right. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. And then after a while, they're like, actually, we're not going to do that. They start doing their own thing. Everything goes wrong. They repent and turn back to God. And the cycle goes on and on and on. That's like the human problem. And I think that we're seeing that come around again.